Today on Life and Spirituality, I want to look at a spiritual force so powerful that although it cannot remove tragedy from one's life, it can certainly turn any harm suffered and resulting anger and bitterness into a future hope. What force could be so powerful as to release us from these emotions? The dictionary defines forgiveness as giving up any thought of revenge or harm, even though it may be justified. Terry Roberts was sitting on the patio when she heard sirens and helicopters in the distance. As she normally did when she heard the sirens, Terry prayed for the responders and finished her lunch and returned to work. Moments later, she received a phone call from her husband. "Come to Charlie's house now." Driving to her 32-year-old son's house, she heard the report of 10 girls shot in the nearby Amish school. When Terry arrived at the house, she saw her husband speaking to a state trooper. Her first question, "Is Charlie alive?" "No." It was October 2nd, 2006. Terry's son had just shot 10 Amish schoolgirls, and then he took his own life. 5 of the girls were dead, 5 injured, and 1 would forever be a paraplegic. Bitter at God over a recent miscarriage, Terry's son had directed his rage towards these young girls. What goes through the mind of a mother who finds their child responsible for such a tragedy? How would you react? Terry went home later that day and collapsed into a fetal position. Her husband buried his head in a towel, crying so hard that he injured the skin on his face. What is forgiveness? Psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness. Something happened that night in the Roberts home. An Amish neighbor came over to offer his love and comfort. Terry witnessed this angel dressed in black. The Amish are known for their customary black clothing, consoling her husband. Their visitor reassuringly said, "Roberts, we love you." And immediately she knew that her husband would heal. Bernard Meltzer says, "When you forgive, you in no way change the past, but you sure do change the future." That night, Terry Roberts and her husband were introduced to the greatest gift imaginable: forgiveness, the power to live another day. Despite the familiar cliche, forgive and forget, most of us find forgiving nearly impossible, says Charlotte Van Ooyen Witt-Vliet, an associate professor of psychology at Hope College. Forgiveness does not involve a literal forgetting. Forgiveness involves remembering graciously. In a world of constant cultural and political turmoil, many people suffer deep tragedy. I have heard it said that if there were more women presidents, we would have less war and more love. Knowing that this is nearly impossible, what will we do to affect our neighborhoods or our communities for good? I challenge you today to consider the power of forgiveness to lighten your load, lift your mood, and bring reconciliation to your life. As human beings, we possess something so different than the rest of creation. We possess the ability to forgive. We do not have to cower before hatred, fear, and anger. Like this Amish man, we can reach out with a heart of forgiveness and reconciliation. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." Today, you can make the decision to be strong and bring hope, healing, and restoration to those around you and to your community. Right now, reach out and receive this gift of forgiveness for your life and for your family.